Hey, it's Guyby with Vital MX. We're back for round 3 of the Monster Energy Supercross season. Anaheim 2's had some rain overnight on Thursday night into Friday morning. The Dirtworks guys have a little cleanup to do, but otherwise I think it's going to be a great track for racing. Let's check out what the riders had to say. All right, Jett, I think you showed us a little something last weekend.
Yeah, that's for sure. Was feeling good, gelled with the track pretty good. Had some ups and downs in the heat races and qualifying and practice, but at the end we came through when it really mattered in the main event, and no, it went really good. Riding was really good. Ended up clipping a tough block and bending my rear brakes. And I thought I could have rode with it, but on up ramps my heel was dropping and hitting it, and on up ramps I was just almost went over the bars a few times. So I'm like, oh, okay, I have to pull in now to get that fixed. It was getting pretty dangerous. So I'd rather lose a few positions from going into pit lane than ending up on the ground. So no, it was definitely a fairly good it was a pretty good main event, I think, and to show my speed that I can run up with Austin and Cooper. So no, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, second pro main event and to almost score a podium, not too bad.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was hoping for that podium. Even I was feeling so good. I reckon I don't want to say I would have passed them, but I was thinking of maybe trying to make a pass. But no, I was definitely feeling really good.
So what was Johnny's feedback over here after the race?
He was fairly happy. Just wasn't too pumped about the mistakes, and I've made a few mistakes that I shouldn't have made, and obviously clipping the tough block was a bit of a downer. So no, but he was happy with my riding, and that those few mistakes just need to improve.
What are the immediate goals for coming up here?
Hopefully just do the same, get good qualifiers, and yeah, just go out, good start, and hopefully get podium or top 5.
Good luck out there.
Thank you.
All right, here at A2 for pre-race video. And Christian, you've gotten off to an interesting start to the season. A1 was, you're on the podium, but you're not on the podium. And then there was last week too.
Yeah, A1 was kind of a roller coaster. Obviously, it was good all day, and then I was in a good position for a podium, and then dropped back to 4th about halfway through. And then, yeah, I never saw the incident, but I guess Faulkner jumped or hit a tough block, then cut the track. So about an hour after the race, I was at home, and they called me saying I got 3rd. So not really, didn't feel like a 3rd, but on paper it's a 3rd, so we'll take it. And the points, that'll come into play later on. And then last week was in a good position to actually finish 3rd. Was battling with my teammate, going to make the pass there pretty late in the race, and clipped a tough block, and it threw me down pretty quick and took the handlebar to the stomach, and that was kind of the end of my race. But I know I have the speed to be up front. It's 2 weeks in a row of I won a heat race last week and then being right there, so just got to put it together now.
Yeah, I could see you closing up, and kind of the ears were up and,
yeah,
and headed that direction, but unfortunately a little crash there.
Yeah, it was. I think maybe I was looking too far ahead. I knew he was slowing up, so I was going to pass in the next section, and I jumped too far right and just barely touched a tough block, and it sucked under my bike and just threw me off the bike. So yeah, I try not to even think about it anymore. I've moved on from St. Louis. Shoulda, coulda, woulda there, but we have a lot more rounds to go, especially tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to it.
You're finally over all the mental roller coaster on the suspension and your deal with the cast.
Yeah, that was obviously a huge headache last year, and I think it showed in my riding that I'm over that. I'm riding with joy, riding with a lot of fun and confidence. I think when you see me out there, even in practice, you could tell that I'm having fun, so I think that's the biggest thing. So it's awesome just to be here. Just happy to be here and happy that all that stuff's over, and hopefully no one has to go through something like that again. It was a headache, but yeah, it's done now.
We'll bring it this weekend.
That's the plan.
All right, Martine, how about a recap of the season so far? There's been some highlight moments.
Definitely. I mean, A1, I had a big one in practice. I think it was the first time practice. Came out of the turn, and I got a little bit of wheel spin and just tracked, and it just completely threw me back. And I mean, when you're handful in that 450, it's gonna track and it's gonna throw you back. So I had a big moment there, and then just dealt with a couple, just some clutch issues with the bike, and I had a big crash in the main event at St. Louis. I definitely got a good start. That's what I've been wanting to. I was running top, I think 6 or 7. Man, this is such a crazy class that, I think top 6, if you make a little mistake, you're getting passed by 5, 6 guys. So I didn't want to, miss that opportunity. And, with having the little clutch issue, I didn't want people that go by, and just came up short in the rhythm section, and the rest was, history. So luckily I'm okay. It looked worse than it was. Definitely felt it, but I'm glad I'm okay.
Yeah, that looked like straight body to ground on that one.
Yeah, definitely. I got lucky because I missed the landing of that single, and obviously I did scrape my helmet, broke the visor and the mouthpiece, and luckily I didn't have a really bad head injury or nothing. So it was good to get up and go home. Obviously bummed out because that's not how I wanted my season to start, but we have a long season, and I want to get this figured out. Want to get going. I just want to ride to my potential, whatever that puts me on.
Yeah, Geneva went really well for you, so I think people had some pretty big expectations, and then the Tedder team is an interesting spot for you to land.
Yeah, definitely. I've always wanted to be here on the 450 class. This opportunity came up really last minute. I already, Mitch agreed to help me in Geneva on that Kawasaki, so this came right before that, and I was riding Kawasaki until then, and just hopped on this bike going back and forth, and I'm blessed to have this opportunity because it's incredible. How stressful the off season was, trying to find a ride. I didn't know if I was going to race anymore. I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted the opportunity. I've wanted and I got it, so no matter what team it is, I think me as a person, I deserve it for myself, no matter what the outcome, what happens at the end. I want to make sure I did this season, the full season, and whatever happens, next year, if I'm here again, I'll be super pumped. If I'm not, at least I'll be able to close the chapter of my life with what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, it would have felt kind of incomplete to not be able to do at least a year on 450s.
Definitely. I've been wanting to hop on this 450 class for, I'd say, 4 or 5 years now, since Husqvarna actually, and I never had the opportunity. I did have it, to do outdoors that season, and I think from that point on, I thought my 450 career was going to start, and things didn't line up for me, and it just I couldn't get anything going. But yeah, after this season, Mitch told me let's do it again, and went home. I really thought about it, and I just didn't have it in me anymore to do the 250. I was eligible if I didn't race. I wasn't in championship hunt in Vegas, so I could have sat that one. But deep inside, I didn't want to do it on the 250 anymore. I had my chances, and I wanted this 450 ride. So I really thought about it. Thought about it for a good month with my wife. I think if I would have stepped away, I would have regretted it for the rest of my life. So I just put my head down, and I said, whatever comes, if it's something solid that I'm gonna have good equipment, monetary, obviously it is what it is. I just want to do this, to try and achieve my goals.
Okay, Justin, I have to apologize for last week.
No, it's all good.
We had a little booger action going on.
Yeah, that's why I went and did a double check right there just to make sure it's not this week. But it's week 3. We just keep capitalizing on our mistakes, right?
Well, looks like maybe a little slip and slide for press day, but other than that, should be pretty good out here.
Yeah, honestly, just what you're seeing right here, like the start straight is a little bit wet, but for the most part, if you look over there, it's like completely bone dry, and they covered it. So the layout looks fun. It looks like there's some pretty weird, sharp transitions, some stuff that might complement me. So
a little more technical this week.
I hope, man. I hope every week that I'm going to have something that I can do and nobody can do, and I can breathe on and they can't. But we'll just see. Last weekend was definitely a simple track that got chewed. It was tough to ride. So I actually feel good about how I rode on a track that doesn't suit me that well. I feel even better about this, getting back to a hard pack, hopefully hard pack Anaheim. We didn't get enough rain, I don't think, to really shake up how the track formed, but I think it's going to be good.
I was kind of surprised in some of the corners last week. Sometimes we've seen them there be super fluffy, and it's just like a roost fest in the corner.
Yeah.
But, man, those were like railroad track ruts. You know?
Yeah, I don't know what the trend is here in 2020, but man, we've had nothing but just tracks just get deteriorated and gone. But I look forward to some of those berms that we just blow out. I kind of, I enjoy that because it's harder to stay low, and I think I kind of specialize in staying nice and tight in that when that's the situation. But dude, when it's rutted, it's just like, oh, there's a rut and we have to hit it. No two ways about it. You just hit the ruts.
Yeah, and those things were serious.
Oh, dead serious, yeah. St. Louis dirt is like the best all the way until you have to go somewhere with it. And then all of a sudden it's like it grabs everything and you're just like feel like you're in a pit bull's mouth.
Well, we can't wait to see what you got for the weekend.
Yeah, me either. Thank you.
Okay, Alex, let's talk about the track for this week.
We're checking her out right now. I don't even know where I'm at, but this rhythm is already rutted. Looking pretty technical for sure. Looks like it's definitely more technical than A1. We haven't rode the track yet, though. We're going to do press here in a little bit. Check it out. Definitely got some rain last night, so she's a little soggy. But I'm kind of excited. Excited to be back in Anaheim for A2.
Okay, I got a silly question. Do we see you on a 450 when we switch coasts?
That's a tentative plan for sure. I rode the 450 quite a bit in the off-season, outdoors, just kind of as a training tool. And rode it one day Supercross. Literally just threw my 250 suspension on and rode it. Actually had a little fun. It was weird. I kept overshooting everything because there's so much power. That's the plan right now. We're all in 250 West, just trying to get the best possible results for JGR Suzuki. And when the time comes, I would like to ride 450 for a few select rounds.
Man, it's been a little tough on the season so far and lost some guys.
Yeah, it's JGR. It sucks. Joey was looking really good in the off season, and I was excited just to see what he was, where the ceiling was for him on the new Suzuki. And it sucks that he got hurt over in Australia. And then with Freddie, honestly, Freddie blew me away. He was riding really well, making the main at A1, and was looking to make the main last week in St. Louis and didn't even crash, but ended up breaking his leg. So that sucks. And yeah, Jimmy's just got one more round 450, and then he's heading back to the 250 East to get ready. So I'll be by myself here shortly, but just try and raise the flag for JGR Suzuki 250 class here.
Okay, Vince, week 3 here. What do you see out here so far?
Man, I just walked out here, but I know it rained a decent amount last night, so they did good keeping her dry. There's some deep ruts, which is unusual for A2 unless a big rain comes through. So, I think usually they have monster trucks between, so that dries out the dirt. So, a rutted track again. The first 2 rounds, man, that 20-minute main event with 22 gnarly 450s on the track gets chewed up bad by 10-15 minutes in, and it just becomes kind of about managing the track at that point. So it looks like that might be the case again here tomorrow night, but I'm gonna go walk the rest of it and we'll see what's what.
It's funny because we see them watering the tops of the jumps, and meanwhile it's wet in the bottoms. They did have plastic on it.
Yeah, obviously they got to keep the dust down on the tops, but I think there's no good way to keep all the water out. It's gonna get in the crevices and cause these little low-lying rutted up deals, it's just kind of another obstacle to deal with. It's not a whoop section or a rhythm section. The fans might not be able to tell it's there, but it'll make us it'll challenge us all day tomorrow. So kind of cool for guys that can handle it and not so cool for guys that can't.
Were you happy with last week's results?
Results, no, I wasn't happy with. My riding was not terrible. I just kind of, I got all 3 starts to start the year. Whole shot in the heat race at A1, the main event at A1, heat race at St. Louis, and then probably the most important one for me of the year was St. Louis main event, and I botched the start. So I was bummed on that. I think I started 14th. I might have passed 2 guys, and 1 guy got by me and just kind of stayed there. The pace is so fast. I could see the top 10 right there. They're all right there the whole race. It's just you can't do much to make moves. And, I tried to kind of settle at the beginning. That didn't work. They kind of got away. I tried to make a charge. There's not much to be had out there. You got to get a start, and you can't make any mistakes. So that's where the results are coming, and keep focusing on that and see if we can't get some better results here.
I think early in the main it's hard when everybody's clustered together. You have to play offense and defense at the same time. Is it easier to get by guys later in the main when it's a little more spread out?
Not really, because guys are going so fast. Like I had Dean Wilson and Cooper Webb and Aaron Pleshinger right in front of me, and then I had Justin Bogle right behind me. I mean, those are all champions. They're all flying. They're all healthy, and the bikes are good. And it's just like, you know, there's not much you can do. You can maybe make a hard push and get right up on their back wheel, or, you know, you can try to maybe stuff one of them. But then, you know, obviously I've been criticized for that over the years, but if you do that, you're going to lose 10 seconds by missing the rhythm lane after that section where you try to make the pass or whatever. So it's tricky. And then, like you said, the first few laps are tricky too, because you're either taking the fast line and leaving the door open, or you're trying to stuff a guy, and then you're going to lose time to the guys ahead. So it's a little bit of a like super intense chess match there for the first few laps, and then there's no more pace yourself anymore, or strategize like, all right, I'm gonna push in the middle or make a push at the end. It's an all-out sprint for
20-minute sprint.
20 minutes, yeah. So it's tough, but I guess good for the sport. More guys riding faster, and hopefully all these guys stay healthy, and we can keep pushing that pace all year long.
Do you think current Vince Friese rides a little smarter than back in the day?
Yeah, kind of have to, man. I wouldn't be able to be here and be riding those races, getting those results if I wasn't. Like I said, like one dumb move ruins your whole main event. You know, where before you could kind of maybe get away with one or two mistakes and still have a decent result because the other guys are making mistakes, or they're just not as many good guys. But there's a full field of champions and race winners on the 450 main event. So yeah, there's no room for error anymore.
All right, Adam, we missed you for a couple rounds with the wrist, but I see a wrist brace here.
Yes, we got a little wrist brace on. I missed Anaheim 1, and I also missed last weekend in St. Louis, which was a real bummer because the track looked super fun, and I always get my best finish in St. Louis. But glad to be back here at A2. We don't know if we're racing yet. We're going to try it out here today in press and see how it goes. The wrist feels pretty good. Just a bummer that I got hurt right before the season, 4 days before. Been putting a lot of work in with the team, and I feel like the bike's been good, so I want to put all those efforts on display. Hopefully this weekend will be it.
Well, between the German round where Ryan was gone last week and you being hurt, Kyle was the team last week.
Yeah, no, he was, and I think it was pretty cool though. Max Anstie and I both came to the event, and we worked as a collective, and just made sure that Kyle had everything that he could possibly need for the weekend to do good. And I think you've seen it in the results. Kyle did really good. We need to work on his starts, but he pulled a nice little gap in the main event and got a groove going, and we were really proud of him for that last weekend. The team was super excited, and if we can get him out of the gate, I think he can really do some damage. But it was cool to see the whole team together and have that vibe last weekend in St. Louis, but I want to be out on the track and not up in the stands with a walkie-talkie. So hopefully this weekend will be the weekend, and always love Anaheim because it's one of my home tracks, and it's kind of like, it's one of those places where I grew up and I was like, this is what I want to do. I've watched Jeremy McGrath, I've watched Ricky Carmichael. Right over there, actually, I'll never forget, I watched James Stewart in the main event. I think it was Anaheim 2. He came out of the corner and he went 3.53.4, and Villapoto tried to do it right behind him and he cased it. And it was one of those most magical James Stewart moment nights where he pulled away from Villapoto like he wasn't even there, like he was a rookie, and James Stewart floated away, and he went 4.34 in that section, and it was just so much time that it was unbelievable. So, it's cool to be in this stadium on this track and be racing here tonight or tomorrow night, and hopefully we get to put it to these guys.
Hopefully racing.
Yeah, hopefully racing.
We've got a German champ here, but man, you've got a terrible German accent.
It's not good at all. They tell me that day in and day out every time I go over there.
Well, missed last week to go over and finish up the German series. Talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately I had to miss St. Louis, but we're a championship contender over there in Germany for the My Racing team, and I just kind of want to finish things off over there. So did a weekend trip, and I was able to clinch that little title and just move on. Our big focus is now 15 rounds of Supercross, and we're starting out at a beautiful day here in Anaheim. So it should be a good day, actually, here at Press Day. So some fun stuff.
Man, any title's big when you're in it.
Yeah, for sure. It is big. It's a confidence booster, and it's kind of just showing who I am, you know what I mean? It took me a little bit. I wasn't too hot through the amateur ranks, but now that we're on a 450 with a bike that I can ride and really step up my game, I think it's going to just be a matter of time when I'm up there running with the guys.
Yeah, talk about the team.
The team is amazing. I'm a fill-in rider for one of their guys who had got injured, unfortunately, but that's kind of how my life's been. You know, the last 2 years it's been a fill-in guy, and I'll take it, man. The privateer thing is not very fun, and it takes a lot of effort, and it's a big deal to be on this team. It's cool.
Yeah, I talked to Max a minute ago, so filling in for him, obviously.
Yeah, what's cool about that guy is he's still interacting with the team and functioning throughout all of our practices and giving us feedback and stuff. The guy has a lot of knowledge, and he's been overseas where it is pretty big and the racing is extreme. So to have him by our side with the team, the HEP Motorsports team, is really been a good focus for ourselves, just mentally, physically, and just on track. So I think we're getting to a good point where we can be competitive. Kyle Cunningham, he's done relatively good, and since last weekend, I think there was a 16th overall. So we're just trying to build off of that, and that's how we want to go against these guys.
Well, good luck this weekend.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Well, dang it, Max. It's nice to see you back here in the U.S., and we were looking forward to seeing you on Supercross, but this is not the start that we were looking for.
Yeah, it's the name of the game. It's what happens, and unfortunately, yeah, we've had a little hurdle, but it could end up being a blessing in disguise, and it will hopefully allow me to get 100% healthy and even just organised. Even yesterday I was looking at houses down here in Southern California. Like we don't even have a place to live down here in Southern California. I've been up in Madeira, which is where the team is, which is brilliant for Supercross because they've got their test track there. But it's it's just getting everything dialed in. I think that takes its time. So although it sucks I'm not out there racing, I can learn, take in as much as I can. I'm doing as much for the team as I can with watching, helping them with lines, helping them with seeing what I see. It is what it is, but I'm getting the most out of it.
Well, it's kind of nice to see you back here on this side of the pond. It's been a bit, though.
Yeah, exactly. I know it has been a while, but I felt as if I've been racing the World Championship, and I said to my close family and friends, if I didn't give it a chance to come back to the States, if I finished my whole career racing in the World Championship in Europe, I would regret not giving it a go, because riding Supercross was what I was brought up to do, as a kid, and it was always about going to America. It kind of happened, and then I went back to Europe, and that was it. I just didn't get the opportunity to come back. So now I'm back here. I'm looking forward to hopefully making something of it and giving it my best shot. That's the main goal.
How long before we see you back in action?
I think it's going to be another 8 weeks before I'm out of this boot. I mean, I'm already 3 weeks ahead of schedule out of the cast. It's tough. I'm working with Dr. Ting up in Fremont, and their guys, and they've done a great job with me. So honestly, I don't want to rush it, because obviously I don't want to come back underprepared. So we're going to take it week by week and see what the doctors say. But I think end of Supercross, I mean, I'm definitely going to be ready for Hangtown. That's the goal.
We'll look forward to it.
No worries. Thank you.